story in a magazine. Where do they go? The story's not even over yet, I guess.
Let's take a shop tour. Okay guys, I'm gonna take a tour around the shop. And I'll talk a little bit about each machine that we come to. Right here is coming into the first bay. These are all the racks that we have of parts that need to be bent up before they get moved over to the fabrication area. This first machine is a 350-ton, 16-foot CNC press brake. It's got a controller here, and these are the fingers and the back gauges for bending the parts up. This is a 10-foot, 150-ton press brake. It has two independent CNC back gauges. And you can move these dies because they're segmented. You can set up different sections along the rail. That way you can do multiple bends on different parts all at one time with one setup, rather than having to set up multiple times for one part. The controller for it. Then we move on behind. This press brake is another press brake. It is a 13-foot, 250-ton press brake. This one also has independent back gauges and can be set up with segmented dies to do multiple bends. This is the controller for this one. And move on to our last press brake. This is the newest machine that we've got. It's a small little 40-ton, 4-foot press brake. Has a touchscreen interface monitor and also has segmented dies with independent back gauges in the back. Next, we have an old Y-Song 12-foot shear that we retrofitted with a CNC front gauge. Has these little fingers that'll pop up to set your length to the blade when it gets cut. This is your controller to set up your lengths. You can set multiple cuts all at the same length at separate lengths, and the rails here will move up to the different positions you need with the fingers up. That way you can shear at whatever length you need to. We use the shear a lot in conjunction with this machine, which is a 40-station turret punch. Here in the turret, there's 40 different stations with different tools. circular, square, rectangular, special shapes, diamonds, anything you can think of or have made, you can put in this machine for it to punch. And it also has 2 indexing stations. Here, this indexer can spin the tool at whatever angle you want. So you can part a tool out of a piece of material. But what you do is you set your home stop here, butt your material up to that, put your material inside these clamps, hit the foot pedal, and the clamps come down and hold the material. And then the whole table will move into under the turret, and it'll move it under the punch, and it'll spin the material anywhere it needs to have the punches up. And then when another punch comes up, or another punch needs to be made, this turret can spin around, find the right punch that it needs to, and then it'll start punching it inside the material. Right here on this board lists all the punches that are in it right now. This station right here, 21, is one of the ones that indexes, so it can be spun around at whatever angle you need to cut with. Over here through this door is a maintenance area where we work on forklifts or anything, and has a lot of tools for maintenance purposes for the machines that we use. Moving over here, and so the next bay is where our lasers are. So we have all our material holding here, that it's also for the shear and the punch machine. Then it crosses over into this bay over here on this side for laser. And this is our drop materials off the full sheets for aluminum, stainless, and carbon steel. This here is material and parts that are being used on this machine here. Take these full sheets, load them onto here, and these are some of the parts that are being taken off and stacked over here. Now that sheet is going into the machine to be cut and should come out to look like that. Over here to the next machine is another laser. This one has 2 beds also, but it's in a different configuration than the other one. This one, the beds run long ways, where the other ones, the beds run like this. And this machine also is 2 5-foot by 10-foot beds, where the other machine is 2 6-foot by 13-foot beds. I'm gonna cut the feed until he comes back to start the machine to cut something. Over here on this half of the shop is the fabrication area. We have this front part is shelf with parts and jobs that have been finished and ready to go out, waiting for customers to come pick up. But everything over here on this side is pretty much fabrication. Over here, have our CNC mill. We don't really do much machining here. We're more of a sheet metal shop. But I did set this up to drill out some arms for a job we're doing the other day. It's a Fadal 4020. Then over behind here we have a huge manual lathe that we've yet to ever get hooked up, but one day my dad said we're gonna do it. I'll believe it when we see it. Over here is a 3-cell robotic welder. We've got 2 stationary cells here and 1 rotary cell. He's setting up some parts to weld right now. Now coming over into our final bay is where we keep most of our miscellaneous equipment and do a lot of our cleaning and prepping for parts. Over here is where we have our tumblers or vibratories, where we get all of the oxidation off of our parts from laser cutting. It's really loud. Here we have a tapping session, a tapping station with a flex arm. We do a lot of tapping. We've got a couple plate rollers here. This is a mandrel tube bender that we bend square tubing with. Have a blast cabinet, welder, an old iron worker, another old welder, sander. Here we got a tube bender that we have a few dies for. We don't do a lot of tube bending though. This is another tube bender that we bought for a specific job, but I think it actually bent round rod. There's an old manual tube bender. We have a pipe threader. Here's our old manual mill. Use it more like a drill press though. We don't do much milling with it. This is a Lizmax sander. You can take a piece of aluminum or stainless that has a dull finish on it, run it through here, and when it comes out the back side, it looks like a brushed aluminum or brushed stainless out the other side, like a polished piece of material, sort of like this. But what it has is these belts and Scotch-Brite drums. You got this big sanding belt here, and then you got a big Scotch-Brite drum here, and they adjust and move up above the conveyor belt by however thick the material is, and then it'll just skim the top surface and put the brush finish on it. Over here we have more fabrication areas. But this whole side of the shop in a couple months is going to get all turned into fabrication, and all of this stuff on this side right here is going to be moved on the other side of that wall, which is a new bay that we just put in. Over here we do a lot of cleaning and package work. Over here on this side we have our band saws that we do all of our tube cutting and flat bar angles and all that. And these are more racks over here for parts that are either waiting for other stages to be done to them, or parts that are ready to go out to be shipped. See a bunch of different other parts that are sitting here waiting. But eventually there's going to be racks put up over here in this loading dock. And actually use it as a loading and unloading area, which we haven't since we moved in this place 8 years ago. But we actually have a loading dock here. And we're gonna put a bunch of racks and stuff on this wall for the stuff that's all completely done and ready to go out. And this is the other bay that we just added on. The only thing we're waiting on before we move in is up here on these rails. They have to be finished for this overhead crane, and then everything that is here on this side will all get moved into here. Well, that's pretty much all the tour, unless I guess I can go and show you. We built a gym upstairs here above the break room and offices. It doesn't get used that much, but I guess I can show you. Okay, up these stairs. I guess before I go in and give you a look over the shop from up here. We're LSU fans, so that's why it's purple and gold in here. Doesn't get used a whole lot, but I think it had something to do with medical insurance or something. And we had extra space, so we put it. And you have windows out here you can look into the shop. Well, I guess that's all I got, guys. If you got any questions or want to know something that I didn't cover while walking around the shop, just leave a comment below and I'll try and answer it for you. See you later, guys.